2023. Do you know where your IT pros are? We don't. It's Patch and Switch. And now, two guys who finally figured out that you can actually buy a new calendar and start things right on time at the first of the year. Here they are, Patch and Switch. I'm here.
I think the mic's on.
Yeah, we're here, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to see. Good to see.
Distant. Oh, there you are. You sounded distant for a moment. You sounded like you were talking at the back of the room.
Is the mic too far away? Like it's
no. You're good now. I don't know. Maybe I was getting artifacting. Artifacting.
I mean, I had a very interesting Nintendo Switch ad play before the show, so.
Oh yeah.
It's like I have to re-up my subscription.
What was being advertised?
The ad was just frozen, and so it was like the logo of the Switch with half of the thing that was coming down and stuck halfway. I'm like,
so you didn't even get to see the ad.
How appropriate for Friday the 13th.
Oh, it is Friday the 13th.
Our good friend Patrick Wingberg was talking about how in 2011, on Friday the 13th, he high-sided his bike.
Ooh.
And all of Sweden went dark and wet after that.
Because he high-sided his bike?
I think so. They must be connected.
They have to be. They absolutely have to be.
Have to be connected.
Hey, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Did you turn over a new leaf on the calendar, and are you on the Januaries of the ones?
We have the new calendar. We put the January side of the calendar up. We're good. We've turned over everything. Christmas is behind us. All the decorations have been put away except for the outside lights. They've been taken down, but I haven't put them away yet. I'll get to that this weekend. But yeah. How was your new year?
Well, I've not only just turned over the leaf to say that it's January 1, I've actually advanced it to say that it's January 13th now. So that's better this week.
Okay. Are you using one of those daily affirmation calendars?
Yeah. There should be an advent calendar for every single day, I think. Every day you could have a
What
chocolate.
would you put in your advent? A chocolate?
You could have, you could change it month by month, right?
Yeah.
So, 1 month could be chocolate, another month could be like Lego toys, another month could be like beer.
No, I'm done with that.
That could work. Or,
annual advent.
It could be your way of calorie reduced eating. Whatever fits inside of the calendar hole, that's what you could have that day. That could work.
The only thing you can eat.
That's
you
it.
May only be able to eat this little bitty thing.
I will say though, again, we're not really, we're talking about previous months here, but we got a dog advent calendar this year.
Oh.
Every day was a different treat or a different toy. And our biggest mistake was we only bought one of them, and we have 2 dogs.
Oh dear. Yeah, that's not. That didn't work, did it?
It was fun. So the treats were good because the treats were like a little tiny bag of multiples. So that was fine.
Oh, okay.
It's when there was a single ball or a single piece of rope.
Yeah.
Not good.
No, definitely not good. Definitely not good. Let's say hello and Happy New Year to our good friend Richard Campbell, who's in chat. Patrick, the aforementioned Patrick Winberg, who's also here. Wire Canuck as helping with the things. Steve, the audio guy, pressing buttons or something.
Nice.
I actually don't even know. I don't even know I could run the show. I don't even know what is being run on right now. I don't.
New technology, so we'll talk about that in one of our segments.
I have no idea. Vizio MVP here and present as usual. Jan is here. Let's see. Again, Friday the 13th. Deep fried pizzas for Friday the 13th. Jan, deep fried pizza. So do you? Okay, I need to know this, and you can put it in chat. Do you get all the toppings and everything? Do you bake it first and then deep fry it? I need to know. I need to know how deep fried pizzas are being done. Aspen Forrester says hello, or says hell from Drury, Minnesota. Hello, and maybe it is hell. I don't know. Esposito here saying aloha. Are you in Hawaii?
Nice.
Ledwig's not in Hawaii right now. He wants to be. The Ferris the Brit over in the UK says hello and good day. Let's see. Scrolling through, seeing who else has been chatting. Rich Campbell says there is an advent calendar for every single day. It's called a refrigerator.
But it's only one door. It's not the same.
Aspen says ACAS, so Advent Calendar as a Service. So ACAS.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like that. That works.
Womblegooner. I'm just going to keep saying the name Womblegooner this afternoon.
I like it.
As well. Jay Shock says Advent Calendar, Daily Advent Calendar. They're called Hot Pockets. He's not wrong. Not wrong. Not wrong. Ensposito clarifying he's checking in from Winterpeg. That's not Aloha weather.
No. Definitely not.
Chaos 13 says hello. And that's who's checked in chat so far, but I mean we'll keep an eye on chat.
And doing some housekeeping with our friends and folks that are checking in. Don't forget to tell all of your friends and family and your friends of family they can come and watch us every fortnight here. I've been delegated a task of re-updating a new 2023 ICS file that you can import into your scheduling tool of choice if you are electronic like most of us.
Are you going to send one for us so that we know
we need to have one for us too, because that would be good to keep people on time and on track. Yeah.
Who showed up 5 minutes before our show started? Question mark. All right, there we go.
Then also, in case you haven't noticed as well, Jay Shock, our good audio and video guy, and other things as well, and occasional guest pops in, has been populating the popular words that you can use to be able to help us name the show. I have no idea what the name of the show is, because we did something before Christmas, and then we did a crossover show last week that you weren't on that might have renamed this show, or maybe
no. The show's called Multifactor DieHard DeepFried.
Okay,
it's right at the top, eh?
It's my gosh! It's blocked by my microphone on the multi-camera view there.
Yeah,
Multifactor DieHard DeepFried. Okay, and yes, we will absolutely name the show. Just go ahead, say "bang!" exclamation mark, whatever way you want to say it.
Exclamation word.
And the word. And then you can go to patchandswitch.showbot.tv and vote to see which one will be the highest.
Vote.
Uh-oh. He's come in to say something, but he's muted. So this is a perfect
start of the year. It has to be bang word.
Bang word. Bang word.
You have to use word.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad that you found your apartment and not his car.
I don't know. Every time I talk to Jared, I'm not sure where in the universe he is.
It's the first question you ask him.
Yeah, because I believe he's working on a space RV now.
Good work.
So he'll be like, "Where are you now? I'm halfway between Mars and Jupiter."
That could work.
Yeah. It is the first show of the new year, and I don't know what it's because this is my first week back. From being on vacation, and I thought that we had done another show, and so I didn't do the Happy New Year, folks, in the ads. I'm just like, hey, another chaotic show is up and coming, and then it's like, have we done a show? And I know that you did the kind of crossover with testing and production program, but I was just like, yeah, I guess this is the first show. So. How was your holidays? How was your holidays, chat? Or what is the one? Did you have a great holiday? And secondly, what's the banner item, the banner gift either given or received at Christmas? That's an interesting topic to start the program, because I don't want to distract us by actually starting the show using the segments that we talk about.
No, we'll insert this fun one too. That one there kind of works well. My significant other and the rest of the family have decided that my banner item...
Your house is under attack?
It is. Sorry, apparently it is. Someone's coming in the front door. See, now Teams will auto-duck that barking so that you don't hear it, whereas the solution we're using right now doesn't do that, apparently.
But you can actually put that on your microphone.
I can put auto-ducking on the microphone?
Yeah, you can put a compressor on it, or you could put a noise gate on it. Yeah,
that'll work.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, that was Bailey. As I was trying to say, I believe my family has told me that the item that is my banner item that I should be considering thankful to get and well received would have been something I got just before Christmas on the 20th of December, which was a 2022 Rivian RT1 electric truck. After 2.5 years,
Hot Wheel size, right?
It is drivable. It is drivable.
Oh,
that would be it.
Okay, congratulations. How do we like said Rivian?
I love it. Absolutely love it. Except it is taking some time to learn how to drive it because it uses, for the most part, by default, a one-pedal driving method. So
yeah, you were talking to me about this. So when you let off the gas, it actually applies brake.
Right. It's not the gas pedal. It's the go pedal.
I'm sorry. When you press the go button,
then
you release the go button. So when you press the go lever and you release the go lever. How do you coast?
So you can't coast. It will come to a stop. So you have to find this friction point of the go lever, go pedal, go button to be able to find your advanced forward or reverse motion that is most suited to the speed you're trying to do. It requires a new level of finesse that my wife has not figured out, and I have figured out. But my wife continues to curse me whenever she's backing up because it's very hard to back up and be smooth about it. So that's fun.
DJ Eddie in the chat with his first time chat. Hey, welcome, Eddie. Good to see you, my friend.
Nice.
His gift, a meter, Block 4.
Oh, very nice.
Which is a wireless, I believe it's Bluetooth, yes? The meter is Bluetooth. I don't think it's Wi-Fi. I think it's just Bluetooth, right?
I believe it's Bluetooth. Our resident barbecue connoisseur, friend of ours, Mr. Rich Campbell, is a big fan of the meter.
Yeah. Oh, so Eddie says it's both. It's both Wi-Fi and okay, meter. All right, very cool, very cool. Wire Canuck says he's got one as well. I'm exploring the meter. I'm still of the wired temperature controller. Rich Campbell again says he loves his meter. He says Rich Campbell got a pepper cannon.
Oh, nice.
So is that like a CO2 cannon? But instead, like the entire audience starts coughing.
It's a crowd suppression device.
Crowd suppression device. Now, I have a feeling this is for seasoning meat.
You pummel raw meats and forcibly inject
like on the side of the stage at DJ events, they've got the cannons that burst the CO2 up in the air, and you just do pepper.
I don't know if I'd recommend having them replaced with the pepper cannon.
Okay, fair enough. Chaos 13 says we went to Universal last week. The plague that came back with us, not so much fun. Oh boy, do you have that fun respiratory thing? That's no good. What else do we have? Aspen single pedal drive was strange the first time I drove a Tesla for sure.
Yeah. How about yourself, Mr. Snow?
What
would it be? Is your family in earshot? You got to make sure.
There's two. No, there's two. So first,
you're not one. Hey,
I've got two.
Yeah.
So first, one of the things that we mentioned on the episode of Run As Radio, where we guested and talked about Christmas holiday gifts.
Yeah.
We talked about the Naughtywood signs, like I have my Stormtrooper here. Mm-hmm. Well, I scored an Imperial one now, and I just haven't had time to place it. There's not in this current studio. There's not a great place for me to put it yet. I'm working on it. I may have to relocate the nanoleaf shapes, or maybe we'll post that up in the new place. But the second thing is just before the holiday break. Actually, it was just after I started my break. I was gifted an invitation to the Seattle Kraken of the NHL variety to go see their game, which I went with you. Yep. And had a great time, and watching the team, I completely became obsessed. Well, my daughter got me this big box, like it's huge. It's like huge, a really, really large Amazon box, and I want to say maybe it was the one that the dog food came in or something. Like it's just massive. And so I unwrap that, and there's this big box I open up, and inside is just this little tiny piece of paper, right? and so my daughter is my oldest daughter has got me tickets to go with her to a Seattle Kraken game as well.
Nice.
And I got some, some Kraken merch and some hats and other things, but those are kind of those are amongst the top line items.
So,
but I got some.
I don't want to spoiler alert anyone that hasn't seen the game from yesterday, but
yeah,
it was pretty substantial. Very good game, and also the one before that where they beat Les Habitants. So
yeah,
I'm very happy that they beat Montreal Canadiens, Mr. Wired Canuck, home team. Sorry, bud.
Well, they also beat your former home team.
Yeah.
Of the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, wow. That's obvious, man. The Ottawa Senators.
Well, the good thing is the road series started with a win against Edmonton, who just before the holiday break came here I think it was just after the holiday break.
Yep.
Came here to Seattle and just absolutely I think it was 6 goals in the first period against. It was not a good look, but
not a good look at all.
Yeah, yesterday beating Boston, giving them their first home loss. Yeah.
Hopefully not spoiler anyone.
Oh, well, the game was yesterday.
As the family that records the games and watches them together.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, hopefully your family's not watching.
No. My significant other and myself watched it the other night. So we're good. We are good. And any interesting things pop up in the comments for folks that
Aspen Forrester says he loves his pepper cannon.
Nice.
Is this something I need to look at? Wired Canuck asks, is a pepper cannon like a potato cannon? Is it combustible like hairspray? Question mark. I don't know. So you were talking about, okay, hang on. So this comes back. There's a comment from Aspen about the go lever.
Yes.
Or the go lever, dependent upon where you're at.
Battle. It's a battle.
From an energy recovery standpoint, it makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Energy recovery. So is it recharging?
It's always doing regenerative, like anything, as much as it possibly can.
So is it recharging the power that it's consuming through that? Is that what it's doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
However, the challenge is that you're used to an idle speed of some kind. So my other EV car, which is a Kia Niro, that one does give you the regenerative one pedal driving up to the point, but then it gets to the point where it's like, you know what? We're going to give you this tiny little 1 or 2 mile an hour forward motion until you hit the brake pedal. So it at least simulates an idle. And I think the truck can do that, but I haven't figured that part out yet. And I've got a really good, funny story to talk about when it comes to beer money.
Okay. All right. Well, then we should jump into the show and talk about what's the first segment of the show? It's from the trenches. It's the things that we do. See, look,
we have bidders.
Well, we have lower
the trenches. Look at that.
Yeah. Wow.
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 Housekeeping on the show, we should probably let people know that we are trying and using. We tried this the other day. We've done this as an emergency before. We're using StreamYard as a streaming service to be able to simplify and be able to streamline the StreamYard production of the show. So we're now doing web-based clients to be able to log in. We have the ability to go through and build stuff dynamically, countdowns, all sort of stuff. So awesome capabilities. Very, very cool. But for me, what I've done recently with From the Trenches, I actually dragged you into it too. So for you, it's kind of a beer money. Our good friends at Channel 9 Studios or DevRel Studios or Learn Studios or whatever the hell they're calling themselves this quarter.
We don't know yet. We haven't seen the rebranding.
Yeah, they're waiting for the rebrand again and again and again. An old out of support cluster in a box from Data On, trying to get it happy once again. Because at one point back in April of this past year, when they were moving the rollable cabinet that it's inside of, because it is a rack mount device, someone rolled it over top of the power strip that was powering a variety of items inside said cabinet. And it accidentally knocked out the wall wart that was powering the switch that was giving it network connectivity to the interwebs, and no one noticed. So if a server falls over in the middle of the server room, does it really get noticed by anybody? Is it really a functioning server if it's in the server room?
So, and nobody notices?
Nobody notices. And so, as you know, that went and timed out and expired the local accounts being able to have a trusted relationship with the domain controller because it is domain joined.
Mm-hmm.
So now all of a sudden, no domain resources can log on to said box. And to top
but that's
this
okay because you have a local administrator account.
Well, the problem is it wasn't documented what the local administrator account password was. So we're fat fingering trying.
Hang on. Can I ask a question before we move further in this? Can I ask?
Oh, go ahead.
Who set up the server the first time that would have set the local admin account?
That would have been someone on my team.
It's not you.
I don't think so, because I would have known the password. Or at least I would have written it down somewhere.
Yeah, on a sticky note and stuck it under the damn keyboard.
Sorry. This is Mr. Snow, committee member. I do not recall. I do not recall what the password was and what the process was to install the box. It eludes me at this time.
Okay, fair enough. You do not recall. That's okay.
No.
That's all right. It happens.
So the fix is flatten the box.
Yes, which we did, and in the process of flattening the box,
process,
we've managed to make it to where we literally have to go into the BIOS in order to get it to boot to the boot drive. But that's a whole other problem that we have to solve for.
We're researching how to fix the EFI boot order because it's not recognizing the.
But it's not It's not Windows BCD that's not recognizing it. We believe it is the system itself.
Correct.
So, yes. Yeah. And Sposito says, call Howard. He will help.
Yeah, I know.
Visio MVP documented. Did you lose the post-it note? I don't think it was ever written down.
Nice.
Wire Canuck says some Australian guy set that up. We don't let Australians in that room, do we?
It might. Well, I never even thought to ask Mr. Orrin. Orrin might know the password.
No, it's too late now. There is no password. It's
very
gone.
true.
The OS is gone.
And so luckily this box is used as an archive box. It literally is like a NAS in the sky that just dumps old files onto. All those files are already backed up on the drive. It's a 36 terabyte drive array. All those files have already been backed up by Azure File Sync. So at least we're not facing a data loss issue.
Good call.
And Visio MVP, did you lose the post-it notes? There were no post-it notes visible inside the server room, mainly because, again, other non-technical people cleaned the server room up.
So for those who are playing the home version of the Patch and Switch show,
right,
the server room is a storage closet.
Yes.
The only server in the quote server room is this box.
Well, technically there is a second one, and that's the one that is
right?
The second one is a NAS device running Linux that is called the Evo box, used for video production. And that one has that was the trigger for why we're investigating this one, is because that one's full.
Oh.
And so they're at the point where they almost can't store their production editing files on that box anymore.
See, that's not a good thing, because then you start storing production videos on desktops, the production desktops.
USB sticks.
Well, you can do that too.
Yeah.
I got, you know what? Speaking of USB sticks, I got a really cool one the other day because I use a Surface Go device as a backup for playing audio at things like the kids' dance competition. They have these, and you know, as you know, the Surface Go only has a USB-C, mini USB-C port on it. It has no full-size USBs. They make these convertible ones. So one end is the mini one and the other side is the regular one. When I got it, I had no idea that the other side of it, you know, there was a little lever you can flip over. It had the regular one. Is that it? Is that something similar?
This is a SanDisk.
Yeah.
You flip the lever this way, and it's USB-C. Flip the lever that way, and it's USB-A.
Right. So I also have a SanDisk. Come on. Hello. Camera.
Nice.
There we go.
There it is.
There's that. And then.
So yours rotates.
Yeah.
Nice.
I thought it was pretty cool.
Nice.
And it's very small, as you can see.
Oh, yeah.
Just small enough for me to lose. So I'm going to put it back in the bag.
Yeah.
Anyway, again.
So that was a dual beer money / in the trenches thing.
So where are we at with things? We've got it booted. We've got us joined. We patched it.
We've got domain joined, patch updated, server 2022 image on the box. It is now happy for appropriate people to log into it remotely through our network connections at work. So that's all good. But we need to finish off, and that's on my task list to do for today, among some other things. Just finishing off, having to dust off my freaking brain cells for how to edit EFI logins for the UEFI boot process to basically acknowledge that particular drive as being an active drive. And it might require, again, reformatting the box and reinstalling.
Oh, well, that's all right. It didn't take long. And the patches came down really quick. That's the advantage of being on the network that we were on.
Being on a Microsoft network, having access to Microsoft network patches is very nice.
Comes down really quick. Rich Campbell says, these USB sticks are getting too small. I don't want to lose a terabyte up my nose. You're not supposed to inhale them. I do believe, actually, hang on. I've got the
ingress.
I think it's on this card here, which is the packaging card. There's a lot of very, very small writing. I think it's somewhere on that writing that says "Do not inhale it."
Do not inhale.
I just can't read it, even with my glasses on. I can't read that writing, so I don't know. Anyway, the next generation of USD sticks. Yes. I have from the trenches the day job stuff. It is hard.
You're digging out of email, man. That's what you're doing.
So it's hard to disconnect, first of all. And it probably took me. So in all fairness, the first week I was on holiday, I got COVID. So that was, that obviously, that throws you off for a little
strain
bit.
on the house.
Yeah. And then, and I think we actually did the show just after I came out of COVID isolation. So I think we did the final show.
Yeah.
And then it probably took me another week and a half to completely just disconnect. But I'll tell you what, once I did, particularly that fun week between Christmas and New Year, I was determining the day, like what today was, by what football or hockey games were on.
Yeah.
Like, oh, today the Kraken are playing so-and-so, or today, this college football game is being played, or this bowl game is being played. And that's how, so I didn't know if it was Tuesday or what. I'm like, I don't know what day it is. It's just, I know that this football game is on and it's on at 5. So I can play Fortnite until 4:40.
So do we actually have an official term for that week between the two? Because
there's a lot of them,
that's
but they're not work safe for me to talk about.
It's the most productive week for most people that work in the IT industry to be able to do things and roll things out because no one's around. And if you're at work, that's like the best time to go off and do stuff project wise. Is that week in between Christmas and New Year's?
Right.
I know the normies that are not IT folks that work in that space. They're like literally in limbo. They're like, I don't know what day it is. Is it Monday? Do I need to wear pants today? Is today a pajama day?
That was the other question, determining whether or not I need to actually get out of pajamas for the day. Yeah. That was, but then coming, so you finally disconnect and you're fully disconnected, and then you come back and there's obviously the email backlog. And normally what I would do is just declare bankruptcy.
Nice. Control A. Move.
Yeah. And just move things to a folder, which is, just vacation archive. And then eventually that folder
gets really that important, it'll come back up again.
Right.
Or you could do a Outlook search to be able to find something that might be relevant to a project that was ongoing.
Well, and again, that would be that. I don't move things to folders anyway because my inbox is just like the catch-all, and it drives people crazy. You don't want to see I'm not a zero inbox person. I think I have 1,000 unread emails still, but granted, that's still catching up from the holiday. So I've spent quite a bit of time getting caught up. It was great to we caught up with some folks in person over lunch. I was in the office one day, and you and some of our other folks in our wider organization were in the office. We got to catch up there in person. Getting caught up with the team again, and hey, how's everybody doing? What's going on? What are we working on? What am I working on? Who am I? What day? Yeah. And so that's been my from the trenches, just trying to get back. I'm not concerned with getting back in the mindset of work. I think it's just getting caught up with the things. And there's a lot of things that are due over the next, 4 or 5 days. And so it's just like getting all that prioritized, gathering all the information. Yeah. Ledwig calls the week between Christmas and New Year's his every day because he's retired.
Very true. I hadn't even thought of that.
Which was always fun because he's like, hey, just let me know when you're going to jump on and play Fortnite. And so sometimes it would be like, middle of the afternoon on a Tuesday. And I'm like, hey, jumping on, because I was on vacation, right? And he's like, yeah, sure, let's do that. But yeah, good time there. So that was my from the trenches. I haven't done anything. Aspen replies to Ledwig saying, what's a weekend?
Nice.
the day that stores are open later. Anyway, what's the second? Beer money. The support that we do for our friends, our families, our friends' families. So I have a beer money story.
Oh, look! Little title at the bottom.
But yeah, I know. It's like professional.
The production value on this show has gone up like tenfold, man.
Yeah, when we actually publish social media posts more than an hour before we went live.
We're trying.
Yes,
we're trying.
We're moving on.
Don't go too crazy now on us.
So a buddy of mine got a new vehicle for the holidays, and it's electric. And for electric vehicles to work properly, they need power.
True.
So I get a phone call. And this is before I went back to work, and my buddy's on the phone. He's like, hey, wondering if you can help me out. My son took the truck and he's stuck on a hill right by your house. and there's this error that's related to the battery. And I need to get it towed to a safe location because it's sitting on a hill on a blind corner, and I need a truck that I can actually tow it. I have a tow strap, so can you meet me? Would you like to continue with the story, my friend?
Well, my Kia Niro wouldn't have enough chutzpah to be able to go and freaking tow the truck up the hill.
So, not to throw Rick under a truck, a Rivian.
Nice.
That's elevated, right? Because you don't want it low.
No, the air suspension raises.
Yeah, the air suspension
has to roll someone over.
So I got everything together and I was heading out to the truck, and then I get another phone call, which is, hang on, we might have solved it. We rebooted the truck.
I read the towing manual because towing an electric vehicle, a Tesla or a Rivian or anything that basically has regenerative brakes, is not as simple as simply hooking up some straps and then towing it and putting it in
neutral and calling it good.
So the Rivian has two 12-volt batteries for redundancy. So IT pros, operations folks, they put in two 12-volt batteries plus the big ass battery pack. All the electronics and the software of the truck runs off of the 12-volt system. It doesn't run off of the big regenerative battery that's used for the power of the wheels. And one of the two batteries had failed because it was exhausted and not recharged. It gets recharged by the battery pack because there is no alternator inside of an electric car. So apparently my son got the warning as he was leaving where he was that one of the two electrical system batteries had failed, and it had put the truck into limp mode, which
I'm sorry, what?
Limp mode.
Okay.
For your own safety, in case the truck fails, it restricts how fast you can go and how much power goes to the wheels. And then until it's fixed or regulated or whatever happens to the thing. So he's driving around the place where he was to be able to get home again. He's like, oh, in his head, he's like, oh, this can't be that important. I'll be able to get home, no problem. So starts to go up the hill, and that's where the problem exists, because the hill is on such a sharp grade that it doesn't have enough power to get up the hill. It slows down too much because of momentum.
So just to give people clarity here, from where the hill begins to the top of the hill, we change almost 500 feet in elevation.
Yeah, and it's like
a mile
back and forth. It's like it's crazy.
Yes.
So I'm reading about the towing modes and how you have to tow this thing. And I was driving over to you in the car at the time. And I found out that you actually can.
You were not reading while driving, correct?
No,
right? That would never.
This was before leaving. This was before
yes,
leaving.
Of course.
It is. There is a reboot sequence, and I found out from my friend who has a Tesla that they tell you when you're onboarding and receiving a Tesla that 80% of the problems you can fix with rebooting the Tesla, and you press the two buttons on the steering yoke. So. Like it's an IT pro thing. It's operations. It's anything that works in IT. What do you do? There's something wrong with your freaking computer. What do? You reboot it.
No, you turn it off and turn it on again, like I do with my truck. You don't have to three-finger salute the truck.
Rebooting your computer is the best way to fix a memory leak in a program, right? It just clears the memory leak, so the memory's now no longer full.
But how does this solve a battery being drained?
So he drove around enough to be able to raise the voltage on the battery. But he hit the hill faster than when the window of we're going to put you in limp mode is on before it turns it off again. My guess would be that if he drove it around and then got out of the truck and did something and then got back in the truck to start it again, it would have been gone. It would have been fine. But because that didn't happen, you apparently have to press the hazard button and press the other button with your other hand while simultaneously trying to hit another button with your elbow to be able to get all three buttons pressed. No, it's only two buttons. And then that rebooted the truck. Screens went dark, countdown timer, little boot up process happened. And then lo and behold, limp mode was removed. And he was able to start the truck as normal and drive up the thing. So word to the wise, electric cars, figure out how to reboot your car before going on said long expeditions or have any air meshes pop up. But I do appreciate the beer money. I still owe you a beer for this, by the way.
Well, that's fine. It's all good. It doesn't. Yeah. I know you. You probably watched 874 YouTube videos about the Rivian before in the time, because I was with you when you got notification of delivery. We were in Las Vegas at a Costco way out by where my new house is.
Yeah, by your house.
And you all of a sudden just go completely silent, and then I end up losing you, thinking you're right behind me, and you're just standing there like on your phone. So from that time until your car was delivered, which I think was 4 days, I'm quite sure you watched 874 Rivian videos on YouTube. Did none of these YouTube videos have the reboot process?
No.
Is this a video you're making then?
I'm thinking about making some content around it in my spare time.
I mean, you've got.
I do know a thing or two about making videos. So
Wire Canuck did exactly what I was thinking. You put your left foot in, you put your left foot out. Do the hokey pokey to reboot the truck.
Yeah.
At any rate, no, that was fine. It was I giggled. I probably audibly laughed when you said you needed.
Yeah.
A gas-powered truck to tow your.
Yeah, so us EV people call that ice trucks. We need ice, internal combustion engine. So
I thought it was in case of emergency.
Yeah, I needed to have my ice buddy show up with his truck to be able to pull the truck.
So we didn't end up having to tow it, which was good.
No.
And you didn't even need to unbox your brand new tow strap.
No, the new tow strap is still untouched, unscathed. Oh, and my driver's license plates arrived yesterday, so I can no longer drive for free on the toll roads or the express 520 bridge anymore.
That means you actually have to get the tag and start.
Actually, have to pay. Yes.
Vizio MVP asking snow for ice. Yes, absolutely.
Nice.
What beer money support have you done? I mean, the holiday you went away. You went to the Great White North, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Was there beer money support to getting some Molson Ice?
The episode for me at home was teaching people how to use password managers for 1Password. I think I had like literally a small family training session of 5 people.
Did you have PowerPoint?
No PowerPoints, but I did have a whiteboard and some whiteboard markers.
You connected your device into the TV via HDMI and we're doing demos.
No, the TV was occupied with the Nintendo Switch, Wii Sports.
Bowling. They were playing.
No, it was golf.
Oh, it was golf. Yes. Okay.
It was golf. So yeah, no, I taught a bunch of folks how to use 1Password.
Oh, very nice.
Because they have been far too long just using single passwords all over the place. And it was my sister-in-law and a number of other family members of the more junior variety how to use 1Password. Pretty simple on my side. How about you?
I mean, valuable, right? Yeah, definitely valuable. Wired Connect says beer money for us is more like shoveling neighborhood driveways these days. Do Canadians actually shovel?
Absolutely.
Are like when you get a property, are you not given a 4-wheeler with a plow attachment or snowblower?
No, man. Those move from house to house when you close that close that deal. When you sign, you don't give your snowblower away. That's like giving away your firstborn.
So I figured that you don't inherit shovel. You have to go through with a snowblower. Like that's what we did here, right?
No. You inherit snowblowers from your parents. It's the it's kind of like a cast iron pan, how it's well seasoned.
Yeah,
it's like
a well-seasoned snowblower.
Okay. Your snowblower has to be well seasoned. You don't want one of the new ones. Those have like little plastic blades and like sweeps on them. Those are bullshit. You need the ones that will actually chew off your arm when it's stuck. And you have to reach in to grab someone's hockey stick that's stuck in there. That's the
neighborhood kid who's caught up under there. Yeah.
Some small kid, their snow pants are in there or something like that. You've got to get in there.
The Toro 36-inch steel auger.
Yeah.
According to Wired.
No, not Toro. It's Craftsman. The Craftsman snowblower is the way to go.
Toro is not?
No.
Oh. I have a Toro.
Toro is American.
No. Well. And Wired Connect just says
Canadian
no Toro.
Mastercraft.
Does Canadian Tire do Mastercraft?
They do Mastercraft, yeah.
Oh. I had no idea. Craftsman. That's what we meant. Craftsman.
Now Wired Canuck is like dissing me here saying it is Toro. I'm like, no, it's not Toro. It's Mastercraft. That's the one you want.
Vizio MVP does snowblower as a service.
Oh, yeah.
He just calls someone, I guess.
Nice. That is also very common.
Let's see. Wamba Gooner says, so if Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman did the King way up using electric and had Rivian vehicles, is patch and switch going around the globe on electric?
That could work. At least
we would just have to stop and charge.
At least one electric and one ice.
Yes. For in case of emergencies.
At least one and one. An interesting thing is at one point the Rivians, they literally had Rivian number 1 and 2 off the lines that were not finished vehicles. They were still prototype vehicles when they did that movie. And at one point, they had one truck lose its charge completely. And that's where they introduced,
as long as there's no hills.
They introduced the concept of, again, flat towing to be able to charge it as one of the features.
Right.
And I also looked up that functionality on the web. And they've almost backpedaled on that one, because you can easily find YouTube videos of someone towing a Tesla to be able to charge it as it's dead on the side of the road. Same thing, because it's regenerative braking as well. But apparently you can thermally overheat the battery and the components and fry the systems if you go too much and too fast.
Okay.
So they're hesitant to document the exact procedures because of idiots like me that would probably fly a truck. Hey, man, it's charging if you're going 5 miles an hour. Just imagine how fast it would charge if you're going 50.
That is exactly how you would think. Yes.
It's 10x, man. It's got to be better.
It has to be better.
There has to have been a 10x engineer involved to design that. Come on.
But faster, more power. That's logical to me.
That could work.
That's why we host a podcast about things not to do, based on true life stories, allegedly.
Oh my.
Asterisk. What about you? Let's see. We did beer money. Beer talk. We can talk about beers. Okay. So I have not had beer in nearly a month since that Kraken game. Yes, I know. So I'm trying to be more healthy, and I have been doing. So what happened is I started doing the typical diet of calorie counting and so on and so forth. And then I discovered I looked more into intermittent fasting, which actually fits what I do because I rarely eat breakfast. It's my friend black coffee, which I've always had my coffee black. So it's not been an issue. Now I call this appetite suppressant.
Nice.
But I do the, what is it? 16-8. So you fast 16 hours and then eat in an 8-hour window. So watching calories. And I had a taste. I had a taster. We met some folks at the pub for a dessert just to meet up for the holidays. The pub here. You were in Canada.
Okay, just making sure because
you couldn't make the time because you had to fly from New Brunsfield stock wherever you were.
New Brunsfield, wow.
Yes. Okay. I don't speak Canadian. Sorry. They had a winter ale from a brewery, and I went, "Ooh, winter ale!" And I took one sip, and it's essentially a hazy IPA. And I went,
"Really?
Huh?" Apparently, because they made it in the winter. And when you read the description, it's like, oh, spice, but a little fruitiness, and I'm like, okay, sounds great.
No,
it is literally, it tasted like an IPA, and I was
wrong.
like extremely disappointed. Like, because if I'm going to give up calories for, because I was thinking if this tastes good, I'm gonna have a little cheat day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have my nice winter, something a little malty or a little spicy, something. It can still be hoppy. Like there's nothing wrong with hoppy, but
totally,
but not a fruity hoppy, like citrus fruity, like maybe cranberry kind of, a good winter. I was disappointed. I was very disappointed.
That is unfortunate.
So I'm still waiting because the one that we had at the Kraken game, that was a good winter ale.
Yeah, that was good.
Who made that? Who made that? Was that?
I'd have to check my Untapped.
Okay.
To see who it was. We checked it in. My phone is not near me, so
that's all good.
Hold off on that.
Yeah. What about you? I mean, I know that you were with the teens. Was there beer there? Or was it all White Claw?
There was a lot of White Claw, a lot of Trulies.
Sorry, Truly. I don't want to offend you. You've up-leveled to Truly from
up-leveled to Trulies. So sure, there's a lot of Trulies going on. They also discovered mixed drinks this year. So they were making raspberry mules, regular mules.
Listen, that you should have never shown me that. The raspberry mule. The
raspberry mule is quite nice.
It is very good.
So those were taking place as well. I was having sips of bourbon here and there, so that was nice. But beer wise has been like nothing's really standing out for me recently. Over Christmas time, I did get some of my favorite Ottawa / Quebec beer, which is called Lug Tread. By who's that by? Is it by oh my gosh, it's in Bushnell's Brewery. That's it. I think no, it's it's not Bushnell's. Anyway, it's just outside of Ottawa. Anyway, Lug Tread's quite nice. It's a more amber lager than it is, so it's good. Those were nice to be able to have. And then, of course, my steam whistle. I love my steam whistle as well.
Oh, yeah, very good.
I have to stack up on those two.
Bose Brewing, Esposito, and
thank you. Thank
Brewing.
You, Bose.
Bo.
So Bose Brewing is quite nice.
It's French.
Yeah,
Canadian.
Bo. But coming back here, like I'm overdue to go visit the BBC to find out what they've been doing because they've released another a winter ale that I have yet to try.
Sorry, what?
That we need to go off and try in their Grendel tanks. So we're overdue to go take a look at that.
Yeah.
If you wanted to have, if you can save your time slot and your calories to be able to have some,
I can.
We should go off and check that out.
Absolutely can. Absolutely can.
And then I haven't made anything in a long time because I haven't had a brewery to be able to make anything in with the move. But I've been slowly piecing together pieces to make said brewery in a reality once again in the garage.
And you were running a test process,
so
as I understand.
During the truck episode, I was using the 30 amp circuit to be able to power my electric brewery and test out how efficient the brew process is with the new equipment. So I was boiling water. Very exciting. I know.
Well, but this is the key. You basically go through the entire process with just water from start to finish, looking at,
and it has identified that I'm missing about $100 worth of attachments.
Like what kind of attachments?
Hose ends. I'm converting over from the quick connects to the triple clamp or tri clamp. So I have a bunch of hoses that need to have new ends on them because my pumps won't work with them. So I need to have either an adapter or I need to properly put the proper ends on them and then be good with it. So,
well, that's doing it proper is the way that it should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another random IT guy pops up in chat saying Bellevue Brewing this afternoon? ?
That could be.
I only have a little bit of time, and it would have to be earlier versus later in the afternoon. But we can talk. We can chat about that. So how are you at a point with the lack of connectors that you cannot move forward? This needs to be completed before the next phase.
So yes, I need to order a couple of 90 degrees bend connections. I've got a couple more straights I got to buy. And then that should make it so that I have enough to be able to go through it. But a neat addition to this, besides the fact it's electric, is there are two new things that are new to the brewery that I want to try out. One of them is a steam condenser lid. So inside of a garage, inside the laundry room, wherever it happens to be taking place, you don't want to have steam boiling for like an hour as you're making beer.
Yeah, because everything just gets moist.
Everything gets covered with water. So there's not win points with the landlord that you're doing this. So a steam condenser lid is kind of cool. Like in a regular brewery, is you've got a lid that goes over top of the boil pod, and then instead of being captured and then vented outside, this actually comes up with a U-shaped connection and then down, and then has a hose attached to go inside of a bucket. And at the top of that U-shaped connection is a little nozzle of a spray hose, and you pump water through that spray hose nozzle when you hit boil, and it takes the steam and condenses it with the water that's not at boiling temperature to make it so it falls as water inside the bucket. Pretty neat.
Can you recirc that and
so basically
reuse it?
Recirc it. The water you're spraying is the water that gets condensed. It gets added to the water that you start with, and then it gradually will go, because that water will never be at 100 centigrade or 212 Fahrenheit. Right. That water is going to be cooler than that, so it's always going to be condensing the steam that's coming off of the thing.
Rich Campbell says making beer and mildew all at the same time.
it's a 2-for-1 program.
It's a twofer. It's a twofer. That's kind of cool.
Unique flavor profile when you add mildew to the beer.
Do not recommend.
Not recommend.
Do not recommend.
So that's one thing that's kind of cool that we're doing. The second one is something that I learned when I was helping and volunteering over at Bellevue Brewing and others, called a brewer's tree, like a Christmas tree. It's very ornamental. It's beautiful.
Does it have lights?
There's no lights to it. But
can you add RGB?
You could add RGB, which would be kind of cool, actually. Basically, it's a modified T connection that has the pump input and output going up the bottom, and then it has two branches of exit points that you can control with valves. And you basically can wire, when you have enough connectors on your hoses, you can wire these to different locations. So one goes to this pot, one goes to that pot, one goes to the recirc, one goes to the filter, one goes to the cold plate, like all sorts of different sort of stuff. So you don't have to undo all these hoses and spill beer all over the place like we used to do.
Yes.
So now it basically says, turn on the process of the pump, and it takes the beer and it moves it based on this to go off to the brew pot, or based on this to go back to the mash tun, or whatever it happens to be.
So long as you have the lever in the right position.
The lever is the right position, and you're all good to go.
Very good. Absa and Lily chimes in saying the Lemonade Mule at Acme Restaurant in Nashville, aka Nash Vegas, is highly recommended. Crazy for Cookies lemon moonshine slushy as well. We'll find a knockoff recipe. Yes, that sounds delightful. Aspen says this is why you don't boil maple syrup indoors.
Yes, very true.
I would imagine that the vapor from boiling maple syrup that doesn't come off the walls.
Well, it's going to be leaving the sugars inside the vat, but the boil time for beer is only an hour. The boil time for maple syrup is significantly longer. You're looking for a 40-to-1 ratio of how much has to be boiled off.
For syrup, it's 40-to-1. How did you know that off the top? You're Canadian. Never mind.
It's Canadian.
I'm sorry.
Part of our nationality test to be part of a Canadian.
Literally, like you learn that after you learn the ABCs, you learn the.
Once you have tapped your trees and brought the syrup over to the boil hut, that's why it's a hut. They've got a dedicated hut for this thing. What is the ratio of water content that is the final output of a amber brown grade B maple syrup?
You know, one day we're going to have a segment on the show, which is once a week or once a show, once a fortnight. Rick comes in with basic Canadian knowledge set info, where like random stuff that you wouldn't know unless you were Canadian. Absolutely. I think that could work. Aspen says there's literally a maple leaf on their flag. I know this. I know they took their syrups seriously. I just didn't know that they knew the boiling ratio off the top of their. You're talking to a person who can't remember the damn password on a server that was built like 2 years ago. Who could just immediately just shout out, yeah, it's 40-to-1 to get the syrup ratio boiling.
It wasn't 2 years ago.
It's a legit question.
It was 5 years ago.
It's okay because I could remember every single line from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday. So
correct. Or you can name the name of the song, the year it was released, and the group name after you've heard the first 8 beats.
Yeah. Usually, 8 beats is usually a lot. It's usually sooner than that. But yes, you are correct. But for some reason. All right. Hey, listen, we're coming toward the end of the show. Have you voted on the words, the theme words for next week's program, which you can do if you head on over to
patchandswitch.showbot.tv.
Thank you. Patchandswitch.showbot.tv. We've got words. I'm going to maximize our feed here and lose chat for a moment. We have Advent. We've got Kraken. Calendar. Rick has been tasked. That's more than one word. Space Army, which is different than a space RV, which is what I was talking about. Go button lever. That is 100% one. Raw meat, pepper cannon, Imperial salt reboot, Ice Buddy, regenerative hose connects 40-to-1. Oh dear. 40-to-1 coming in late. And we'll give a moment here if folks want to vote. If you're not going to vote, then we just choose random.
You got it.
At random, which is usually how I do it anyway, because I don't pay attention to the votes.
It's the way you work. You just decide what it is anyway. I don't even have a say in it at all. So
I mean, kind of.
No, but we do have to talk long enough to allow the lag to show up for people in the chat room to actually see these. So
yeah, the lag actually using this system is actually a lot shorter. I've noticed that, that people comment within a few seconds. So
nice.
You know what? I'm just doing it 40-to-1. Let's see, 40-to-1 Advent. Go button lever. That's what we're doing. 40-to-1 Advent go button lever is what we're voting. 40-to-1 Advent go button lever will be the title of the program. Next programs.
Love it.
Is it 40 FOURTY or 40 FORTY? Depends on what part of the world you're.
What part of Canadiana you're part of there.
40-to-1 pepper cannon. That's the ratio of pepper on each slab of meat that comes out of Rich Campbell's.
Nice.
Oh, with that, the band starts playing, so that means we've come to the end of another exciting Patch and Switch program. Thanks to everybody for tuning in, and Happy New Year to all of you. We're back in a fortnight's time, but we'll say thank you to another random IT guy, Aspen Forrester, to DJ Eddie, new chatter, but we know Eddie very well, Ensposito, Ferris, the Brits, Jan in the house, Chaos 13, Kowski, Rich Campbell, Ledwig, the shadiest of pandas, Vizio MVP, Womble Gooner.
Love that name.
I do. Womble Gooner. Did we say Ensposito? Did we say Ensposito? Because I don't want to miss out on Ensposito, and I'm just going through chat to make sure that I didn't miss anybody else on the list. We're back in a fortnight with more fun. The archives of the Patch and Switch program apparently are going to be worked on. At least that's what somebody is saying. So
we're only a year behind. We're not bad.
But today's episode will be available via the podcast, so share that to all of your friends. They'll be available very, very soon. Hopefully in a couple hours. Fingers crossed. That's it. Until next time, have a weekend, everybody.